Euphoria.
Standing by the counter chopping vegetable for dinner, while Jungkook sat casually at the kitchen island, his phone in hand. The kitchen was filled with a warm, inviting aroma of food. The atmosphere was relaxed. Just then, Hana strolled into the kitchen. Her cheerful energy immediately filled the room. She wore a playful smile, her eyes sparkling as she spotted Jungkook. Wow, Jungkook, you are actually in the kitchen today. That's the real side. Jungkook looks up from his phone, giving a soft chuckle, his expression relaxed. Yeah, thought I'd watch you buy and burn the food for once. You hearing this, roll your eyes with a mock glare. Excuse me, I'm a great cook. Thank you very much. Hana, sliding closer to the island, leaned her elbow on the countertop, her gaze lingering on Jungkook in a teasing manner. Well, if Vian's going to mess up dinner, you should have called me. I make a mean pala. She gave Jungkook a quick wink, clearing tried to playfully grab his attention. Jungkook smiled politely, appreciating the right humor. I'll keep that in mind next time. You, catching the bento, turned towards them, waving a spatula in the air. Hana, if you're so confident, why don't you help instead of running away out of it? Hana giggled, shrugging as if caught in the act but didn't deny it. Hey, I wasn't flirting, just offering my culinary expertise, right, Jungkook? Jungkook gave a low chuckle, glancing between the two sisters. I'm staying out of this one, you two handle it. You shook your head, laughing as you went back to the cooking. Meanwhile, Hana still smiling mischievously, grabbing an apron, moved to your side, giving your sister a playful nudge. Okay, let's see if I can actually help, or I might end up burning the kitchen down with you. You laughed, your little annoyance fading, and the three of you shared a light-hearted moment as the dinner preparation continued. Hana's playful banter with Jungkook was innocent, and even you couldn't help but join in, feeling completely at ease. Soft hum of the evening filled the room as you sat on one end of the large couch, flipping through a book absent-mindedly. You wasn't really reading, your thoughts were elsewhere, circling back to the strange circumstances you find yourself in. Across the room, Jungkook sat at his desk, tapping away on his laptop, immersed in work as usual. The silence between you both was palpable, not uncomfortable, but definitely not warm either. It was just there. You sighed inwardly. Your marriage was nothing more than just a contract, a formal agreement, made for a reason neither of you wanted to dwell on. Jungkook was polite, distinct, and always professional. It felt like more like living with a well-mannered stranger than a husband. Breaking the silence, your voice soft but steady. I was thinking about ordering dinner tonight. Do you have any preferences? Jungkook paused just typing, glancing up at you briefly. His expression remained neutral, though there was a hint of thoughtfulness in his eyes. Anything fine with me, I'm not too picky. You nodded, already used to his indifferent responses. You were not offended, though this was just how things were in polite exchanges, no real connection, and both keeping things professional. Okay, I'll order something light then. You turn your attention back to your phone, scrolling through a food delivery app. The quietness of the room seemed to grow heavier, and despite the mutual efforts to keep things civil, the formality in the air was hard to ignore. Neither of you had really made an effort to bridge the gap. After a few minutes, Jungkook spoke again, his voice breaking the silence. Mildly curious, have you been comfortable here? I mean, in this house? It was a rare moment when Jungkook even attempted to ask something personal. You looked up, surprised by the question, but quickly composed yourself. A bit taken aback, but smiling slightly. Yes, it's been fine. The house is beautiful. It's more than enough. There was an awkward pause afterwards. Neither of you sure how to continue. Jungkook nodded once, seeming satisfied with the response, and turned to herself. You exhaled quietly, unsure whether to feel elated or disappointed by how distant the instrument between you was just as you returned to bring the order. Jungkook stood up from his desk, stretching slightly. He walked over to the window, looking out at the city lights. His back to you, casually. I'll be working late tonight. You don't have to wait up. His tone was neutral, businesslike. Jungkook. The soft lighting highlighted the various paintings that adorned the walls, but the one portrait is particularly stood out. It was a painting of two of you, Jungkook and you, commissioned soon after the contract marriage. A piece meant to symbolize your union, at least on the surface, but as you stood before it now, the portrait seemed to reflect something deeper, something neither of you had dared to say out loud. You stood a few steps ahead of Jungkook, your eyes fixed on the painting. The artist had captured you perfectly. He looked gracefully at his arm. Jungkook standing beside you, his hand resting gently on your back. In the painting, you both looked like a perfect couple, but in reality, the distance between felt enormous. Softly, almost to your side, you looked so different here. Jungkook standing behind you took a step closer. His gaze also fixed on the portrait. His expression was unreadable, but there was a softness in his eyes that he rarely showed. Artist did a good job. We look happy. There was a hint of irony in his voice, but you could sense something else. Regret maybe. You glanced at him, really unsure of how to respond. You cared about him deeply, but every time you thought would say something, the fear that he still wrote these images of permanently stopped you. Looking back at the painting, you are happy. The silence between you both was thick, but not uncomfortable. It was the kind of silence that held unspoken feelings, the kind where words were unnecessary, but also desperately needed. You both stood side by side, gazing at portrait, both lost in your own thoughts. Jungkook's hands brushed against yours accidentally, and for a moment neither of you moved. The touch was brief, but it sent a spark through your heart, and you wondered if Jungkook felt it too. You paused quickly, but you kept your face neutral, afraid to give away how much you actually cared. Finally breaking the silence, his voice low. It's strange, isn't it? How we can stand here looking at this painting and pretend everything just normal. Your heart skipped a bit. Was he hinting at something new? Or was this just another layer of your polite, distinct conversation, trying to keep your voice steady? Yeah, but maybe that's what this is, just pretending. You didn't mean for your words to come out so bluntly, but you did. And for a moment, you regretted it. But then you saw the way Jungkook's shoulder tense slightly, and you wondered if he was hiding his own feelings too. Hesitating then softly, is that how you switch, just pretending? You blink, your breath catching in a thought. You turned to look at him fully now, his face only inches away from yours. His expression was serious, his eyes searching yours for an answer. He wasn't sure how to go. Heart racing. I don't know, I thought maybe that's how you said. It's been 2 years of your marriage. The words hung in the air, and for a long moment, neither of you spoke. The quiet hum of calories seemed to fade, leaving only the sound of everything, and the weight of everything you hadn't said. Jungkook stepped closer, his gaze never leaving yours. His voice, when he spoke, was barely a whisper. I don't say anything like that, not anymore. Breathe, God. His word was like a convention, but he hadn't said everything. There was still uncertainty in his eyes, as if he too was afraid of how you would react. Your voice trembling slightly. Then why don't we talk about it? About what this really is? Jungkook hesitated, glancing back at the portrait. His hand reached out. His finger brushes her gently, lingering there as if he don't want to let go. Softly, his voice almost vulnerable, because I thought you still saw this as a contract. Your heart swelled with emotion. You both been holding back, both to afford to admit what you truly felt. Whispering, I don't. The silence that followed was different this time. It wasn't heavy potential or awkwardness. Instead, it was filled with the quiet understanding that you both had been afraid of the same thing, each other's reaction. Cool fingers intertwined with yours, and for the first time since the marriage, you felt a sense of hope, not just from his touch, but from the realization that maybe you both had a chance of something real. You both stood there, hand in hand, the portrait of the perfect marriage hanging before you. But now, for the first time, you felt like you were no longer pretending. The cool night breeze gently brushed your face as you stood on the balcony, looking out at the city lights. You hugged yourself, a soft smile tugging at your lips. Everything felt lighter now, different. The weight of the contract that had once tied you and Jungkook together was gone, and in its place was something you never thought possible, real feeling. Jungkook beside you, sleeping his arm around your waist without saying a word. His present wealth warm, comforting. Smiling softly, your voice quiet. It's still hard to believe you know that this isn't a contract anymore. Jungkook chuckled lightly, pulling you closer to his side, teasing by. Are you planning on running away? Laughed, leaning your head against his shoulder. No, not anymore. You both stood there in peaceful silence, the night wrapping around. You both like a soft blanket. For the first time, you felt truly at home, not because of where they were, but because of you who was with. And for the first time, you know that Jungkook felt the same. Sat on the couch with a cup of tea, scrolling through your phone. You were trying to distract yourself, but the slight tension in your chest kept pulling your attention back to the two people across the room. Jungkook was sitting at the dining table, reading through some documents, while Hana, your younger sister, was leaning casually on the edge of the table, talking to her friend. Hana's laughter rippled through the room as she gently brushed her hand against Jungkook's arm, laughing lightly. You have been working too hard. Maybe I should help you relax a bit. I could make you something special. You know I have always been good in the kitchen. Glanced her phone up. Your smile stiffened slightly as you saw Hana's head lingering a little too long on Jungkook's arm. Completely unaware of Hana's intention, simply smiled politely and calm. Thanks, Hana, but I'm fine. Just a few more things to finish up here. You bite your lip, trying to stay calm. You know Hana was always the playful type, but this felt different lately. Hana had been visiting more often, staying longer, and finding every excuse to be around Jungkook. You can feel the knot in your stomach tighten, but you stay quiet, not wanting to make a scene.